Here. Okay, so we're recorded from here on. So if you say something vulgar, it's going to last forever. So I'm really worried about some of Chris's friends who didn't play football mostly. There has been no football at Whitman since 1976. Chris played for 4 years at Whitman in its heyday, I think, during its most productive seasons. Chris played 4 years at Whitman, and then he went on and did many other things. And Bob Crabb, who played linebacker and offense as well, we'll talk about that. And of course, there's more to Chris than football. I mean, you all know that, and that'll also come out. But it's tonight. It's football primarily. We will have the three people that we've picked to speak about Chris and football, and then we'll open it up. And we will allow people to say things about Chris and his athletic prowess as you desire. And then Chris will close off the evening. He has some prepared remarks, but like a lot of us, there's a little hoarseness. And so we'll do our best with that. In addition, we got one camera here that'll kind of switch back and forth. So any of you who are prone to nausea with motion sickness, you might want to close your eyes when I start moving the camera. So I think that's it. It's Hall of Fame. We're so proud. Chris Helton, Hall of Fame, Whitman College. The college was a better place because of him, and the Hall of Fame is a better place because of his inclusion. So at this point, I'm going to turn this over to Bob Crabb, who's going to make the presentation.
Thank you, Eric.
Just a sec, Bobby.
Okay.
Offsides, Bob Crabb.
Yeah, offside. Unfortunate.
Just that. Mm-hmm. There we go.
Okay.
See,
Ready to go?
can you all see Bob Crabb? Thumbs up. Okay, hang on just a second. I'm going to do something that'll make you bigger, Bob.
Always needed to be bigger.
Make me bigger.
Okay, sorry, don't talk. You'll be the speaker. Mute. Okay, go ahead, Bob Crabb.
Thank you, Eric. And thanks, Eric, for arranging this technology for us to be able to do this. We're very grateful to the athletic department at Whitman College, Kim Chandler, Nancy Mitchell, we can't forget. We're very grateful to Chris's family and friends and teammates. And without any further prevarication, it is my pleasure to present to Chris the certificate that announces his induction into the Whitman College Athletics Hall of Fame, fall 2021. Chris Helton, 72. Chris was a 4-year starter for the Whitman College football team. He accomplished the unprecedented achievement of being a unanimous first team All-American, All-Northwest Conference selection on both offense and defense. But he was much more than just a great football player. Chris chose Whitman out of his desire to be a true student athlete. He was and remains a Renaissance man. Chris was the lead violinist in the college orchestra his freshman year, performing a solo in one of their presentations. He completed a major in pre-med and philosophy, and that was only the beginning. Chris earned an MBA in finance from the business school at Columbia University. He was the director of research for the trust department at Security Pacific Bank in Los Angeles for 8 years, providing stock market recommendations and economic forecasts. For 3 years, he was the director of equity at the Bank of America in Los Angeles. And for 7 years, he was the senior research analyst for United Capital Financial Advisors, LLC in Seattle, writing a monthly investment newsletter. Clearly, Chris Helton excelled at his chosen sport to a level achieved by very few student athletes in the history of the college. Just as clearly, Chris has represented his alma mater in a manner that brings pride to Whitman Athletics and to the college. Chris, your certificate.
It's all right.
Now, we have invited some of Chris's teammates to make some special comments. And the first person on that list is Logan Hazen.
I can unmute, we'll go from there. Congratulations, Chris. I'm really
Just a minute,
excited about,
Hang on just a sec, Logan. I'm going to move the computer a little closer to Chris and ask you to let me turn up my volume and ask you to do the same for yours. Just a second. Okie doke, Logan. Practice again. We'll see if we can get.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Good.
Sounds
Yes.
good. I'm excited for you, Chris, a well-earned honor, and especially this week. Folks may not realize this. Many of us in the picture are the class of 72. This mustache, Chris, started growing November 13th, 1971. That was my 22nd birthday. That was our last football game for Whitman College. And the last day, sorry, Mark, the last day of Coach Roy's no facial hair rules. In fact, I think the only one that got away with facial hair was Johnny D and his mutton chop sideburns, probably the closest we all got to facial hair. So my lip hasn't been shaved since that day in 1971. I think our 50th anniversary of our last football game is way late, but a great honor for you to be recognized, Chris, for all that you've done, all you did on the field, and for all of us that kept in touch with you beyond that. This isn't supposed to be a memorial service or a roast, so I'll try to keep my comments that way. Arthur, you can roast him if you want. That'll be fine. There's many stories that you hear about Chris's prowess on the football field. There are many out there. I'll let some others talk about that. I want to share my favorite story about Chris, because Rich really tells you maybe a lot more about who Chris the person is and the impact on our team. And some folks know I was a hired administrator and then on become a faculty member, and I'm almost retired. Grab picks on me all the time about being almost retired. One of the concepts I talked about was common shared experiences. A football team is a tremendous common shared experience. It shaped us, it shaped our lives. Chris was a part of that. There were many people that influenced us in those years that we played. I think all the other players and probably some of the spouses and parents in that might understand too, how that really shaped it. For us, Coach Roy and his high expectations and his tough love. And when the Marine Corps hat came out, we knew we were going to get some tough love for whatever we'd done or not done the week before. The gentle giant presence of Coach John. Quiet, but shaping us, adding to that common shared experience. The grit of running back Mike Levins. He wasn't in our class, but boy, did he shape us there. Bob Crabb's cheerleading the defense on as linebacker. I used to have bruises on a part of my body that when Bob would be cheering us on, running back and forth along the line. Thank you, Bob. The flashing speed of quarterback Eric Johnson. Oh, excuse me, that was Art Mitchell, wasn't Eric. I got that wrong. Chris was totally different and still is totally different from those folks. A football star. I mean, you have to be a beast to go both ways, get recognized both from both sides of the ball as all conference. He used logic for me, he used logic as much as instinct as a player. Some players are instinct. Chris is a thinker and thought it through, and clearly that was reflected in his performance. And ultimately, how do you be a football player, talk about breaking stereotypes, and end up as a philosophy major at Whitman College? Like, think about that, folks. That's pretty amazing. I mean, Steve is a math major. That was fun. But Chris is a philosophy major. Wow. There. So my first and most lasting impression of Chris came from my first week at Whitman College 50 years ago, August of 1968. Folks go, wow. He made an impression that day that stuck and is, we talked a few weeks ago, it's still Chris. Many folks remember in our day, Jewett Hall was where all the freshmen men lived. Wonderful place there. If you remember, if you went down to the basement of Jewett and you walked past the TV room and then you turn right into a little corridor, and then you turn a little right again, you went down this corridor towards the laundry room. Got a little darker, you walked down it, finally you turned left in the corridor. I discovered that's where the laundry room was, and I was one of the people that liked to do my laundry at least once a week. Not everybody chose to do that, but I chose to do that. That was part of my upbringing, I guess. One Sunday morning, because that's when the washers and dryers were cleaned, because at Whitman, Sunday morning wasn't a popular laundry time. First week, I'm walking down that corridor, carrying my laundry, my little bag I got for graduation, and there's beautiful music coming from down the hallway. What is that? Strange, this is Whitman, I'm new, I don't know the way around. Walked down, got around, turned left, and here's that long row of washing machines. And there's this tall blonde dude sitting on top of a washing machine. Hello, that's interesting. In boxer shorts, only boxer shorts. That's interesting. This is okay. And that's Chris. And he's playing a violin, beautiful violin. Wow. I have it in my notes here. I looked and said, this is a complicated dude. I remember thinking that and using the word dude, because that's what we did in those days. Said hi to Chris. Chris said hi and went on playing and serenaded while I did my laundry. And he did his music practice in that. That tells you about Chris, a complicated person with a talent that he used in, as Bob talked about, in music at Whitman, and as Chris told us before, but translating a lot on the football field shaped him, shaped our team. And I'm really excited that we get to recognize him tonight for that small but really important part of his life and an important part of many of our lives here. So congratulations, Chris, well earned.
Thank you, Logan. And another person we've invited to make some comments is Steve Washburn.
Hey, Steve, this is Eric. Before you start, let me tell you how wonderful it is to see so many others that we haven't seen in 50 years. Some of you we just haven't seen many of you in a long time. So guys like Sexton and I can't see all of you on there, and Scott Farrow, I don't see all of you, but it's really wonderful of you to come. Okay, Steve, I didn't mean to step on your time. It's just good to see Brian Grassley as well. No, Steve Washburn. Steve, are you there? Has anybody seen Washburn? Is he on there?
That's him there.
Where? Steve, we
Right
don't
there.
hear you. No.
Does he have his mute on? Is he muted?
Steve, we're not hearing you. I'll tell you what, let's have Art go and then have Steve reboot and come back on.
All right.
So Steve, you reboot, come back on, and we'll go to Arthur. Arthur, for your 5-minute spiel about this, that'd be great.
First off, congratulations, Steve. I mean, Chris. This is a great achievement, a great honor. And I'm glad I'm here to participate with your induction into the Hall of Fame. I didn't spend a lot of time with Chris other than at football since I didn't live in the house. And I don't believe Chris was on 3 West in Jewett. But I really got to know Chris after Whitman College. But during the time we were in school and playing football, Chris and Steve were the two that I looked at for my blockers. They were the biggest guys, and I figured if they got in front of someone, I could slip through a hole since I was at the time a very small person. I've grown up a little bit over the years, but I was able to slip through those small holes and make a few yards. So I would listen to Mr. Coach Wilcox talk to Steve and Chris. I didn't totally understand what he was telling them as far as blocking or taking this band one way or another. I just knew if I stayed on their hip, I could do well. And Chris and Steve, I know this is Chris's time, but Chris and Steve are the two that I look forward to being in front of me as blockers. After college, Chris, Bob, and Eric and I, we spent a few days together in Vegas. That's where I really got to know Chris. Like most of you knew him in the house, the Fight Out House. Chris, as you know, and Logan had pointed out, is a very interesting man. I would say he's a very literal man. And there were things that would interest him to know in. I remember some pictures of a number of people that was working there in Las Vegas. They were handing out these pictures on the strip. And we had collected, I would say Chris had collected a few of these pictures, and we realized that none of them were duplicates. And we had, I don't know, 60, 70 of these pictures, which was very interesting. That was surprising to me, the interest that, Chris had in these pictures, but he had interest in a lot of things as far as the cosmetic guy.
The oral gold.
I'm sorry. But the cosmetic guy that we were walking through, I think, what's his name? Rodman comes through, and we're trying to talk to him for a second and looked around, and Chris had disappeared on us. And he was talking to this young man about cosmetics, facial type stuff. And I guess Chris made an appointment for later that evening to go back to see this guy. And I just thought it was interesting how sincere and I don't know, it was just very, very interesting to see the interest that he took in other people. I don't want to get too graphic on this cosmetic stuff because we do have a mixed audience here. But I just thought it was very interesting in that respect. Chris and I, we had conversations. We're both going through similar situation medically. Chris has sent me, little things that, stay strong, very sincere things. And I think about those things all the time. He would tell me, he goes, Arch, you're a strong guy. You're really able to deal with this. And I think about that all the time. And I really appreciate that. He's a very sincere person. He cares for people, and he's a good friend. I don't think you can ask for a better friend than Chris. I was just thinking, no, I didn't freeze. I was thinking, whenever Chris sends me something, I'll send him a couple words and he'll send me a page. And I go, where did he get all these words from? We're just talking about, this one thing. And he's very thorough. Let's put it that way. But I've enjoyed the time we've had, and hopefully in February we'll get back together again and have some more fun evenings together. So
Thanks, Art.
Thanks, Art.
Thank you,
Steve
Art.
Washburn, would you test your mic now, please? Still not coming through, Steve. Can you hear us, Steve? Thumbs up if you hear us. Okay. Do you want to go offline and come back and see if that does it? Okay. And I think the next one up
Let's
is
go to Guy Nelson. Guy Nelson has agreed to say a few words, and I personally am looking forward to this.
Thank you, Bob. It's been very kind as always.
Thanks for being with us, Guy.
And good evening to Chris and his family and friends and football players and others having an interest in Whitman athletics. As mentioned, it was my privilege to be on the football team with Chris. And like Logan, I'm going to share some memories about Whitman football, and I hope that these reflections about times past will resonate with Chris and others. When I look back 50 years, I can see football practices with teammates and coaches. We can close our eyes and go back to the hot Walla Walla days, our cleats churning up the turf, the fresh smell of the grass with Acme Field wafting into our nostrils, as our classmates and teachers walk between the red brick buildings that surround our green enclave of collision sport. In the meat grinder drill, one player tries to run over, through, or around three players trying to stop him from getting to the football by driving him to the ground or knocking him across practice dummies that are the boundaries of the drill. Coach Wilcox tells linemen that if you play like that in a game, you'll get your body torn off and I'll be sued for malpractice. We run wind sprints past our preferred point of exhaustion up against the border of delirium. We don't take off our helmets or drink water because, I guess, flirtation with dehydration and heat exhaustion builds character. Coach Thompson yells over fatigue and exhaustion. If you quit, now you'll quit 20 years from now. I observed the teammates. If I'm beating my head against the wall 20 years from now, I hope to God I quit. Coach Thompson exhorts us, you'll learn things on the football field that you won't learn in those ivory colored buildings. It took me years after Whitman to understand what Coach Thompson was trying to teach us about football's lessons for life. In football, I found focus, intensity, desire, and the beginnings of discipline that I did not find in the classroom. Eventually, I was able to find those things in law school, career, life. Thank you, Coach Thompson, and our other coaches, and all the coaches I've had for that matter. I believe Coach Thompson would have, and maybe did, endorse the words of President Roosevelt in a speech he gave in 1910. He said, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again. Because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows the great enthusiasm, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Chris Helton was an outstanding man in the arena of Whitman football in the years 1968 through 1971. He also was outstanding in the classroom and other arenas at Whitman. He has remained outstanding in the arena of his life. Congratulations, Chris. Well done.
Wow.
I yield the Zoom back to Eric and Bob.
No less than what I expected, Guy. Outstanding. Thank you so much. And Steve, are you on now?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Okay, Steve.
Okay. Hi, everybody. It's good to see faces that we haven't seen in 50 years. And congratulations, Chris. I wanted to just mention 4 things about my time with Chris in football. And the first was the first time that Chris and I ran into each other freshman year on a one-on-one, and we damn near knocked each other out trying so hard. And at that point, I knew that Chris was something really, really special and was like, this is going to be fun for the next 4 years. And that meant a lot to me. The second thing was, I don't know if our senior year, we played Simon Fraser. And Simon Fraser was significantly larger than we were all the way around. And it was a very, very hard game. Well, for some reason, I spent a lot of it, I think it was one of my worst games, standing around. And I happened to watch Chris be knocking the daylights out of the significantly bigger and stronger, or physically matched us really well guys. And I'd never seen him play a game like that. Poor little Eric was running for his life all the time. And Chris was there taking on as many people as he could on offense and plugging holes and making stops on defense. So that's a memory I'll never forget of watching Chris play. And the third thing is that both Chris and Bob Crabb gave 100%, 100% of the time, and that sure meant a lot to a lot of us. We could always count on you two guys to always set an example and show us that we could always pull a little bit more out and play a little harder. And for that, I'm very, very thankful. And then the last thing is that having roomed with Chris and been a friend for a long time, Chris has always been willing, and when we were playing, he always helped the underclassmen, always helped everybody, was a role model and an inspiration to a lot of kids. And I still think of all that and see him that way today. So congratulations, Chris. I love you, buddy.
Thank you, Steve. Now, if other people want to make any comments.
Well, let me provide some direction here. You got 2 minutes, all right? And so if those of you want to speak, please feel free to do it. But try to stay 2 or 3 minutes so we can let everyone speak. And again, welcome to the family members as part of this. So who else would like to speak up? Kim Johnson does. My wife, Kim, who was a cheerleader there. Okay, Kim Johnson. No.
Okay.
Okay.
Those of us who are in the class of 72, you have to remember, but it hasn't been mentioned yet tonight, the game October '69 down at Willamette. It was such a thrilling game, and that's being a cheerleader was really fun. But you trounced them. It was a beautiful day down there, and that was a game to remember.
Who has their hand up there? Would anyone else like? Yes, go ahead, Craig Sexton. Wow, good to see you.
Hi, Craig.
Unmute and let's hear from you.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I seem to recall being in awe of certain people, and Chris certainly was one of them. I think he had a nickname that maybe some other people remember, but I remember that he was just absolutely the most amazing, awesome football player. And I will never forget my senior year when we needed him to play both ways. And there were many games where he was in and just, you know, you could see 100%. And I remember this one time I was playing and a buddy of mine was playing for PLU. And in that game, after the game, I think we had lost, but he came up and he said, man, he was a middle linebacker and he was against Chris. And he said, man, your guy is the real guy. And that's really who you are. So congratulations.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you.
Dana Jessen. And then Jim Dow.
Hi, Dana.
How you doing? Congratulations, Chris. When I was a skinny little freshman, Chris was a monster that I had to look at on the football field. But I wasn't really prepared for Whitman academics, and my first semester kind of showed me that. So the coaches kind of guided me into a few classes second semester that might help get my GPA up. One of those was a philosophy class. It was the second semester of a full year class. I had no idea what I was getting into. I go in and I gravitate towards the only face that I really know, and that's Chris. And I see this guy sitting there, and the professor is talking and talking and talking, and Chris just sat there. And he kind of looked up to the ceiling. And after about 10 minutes of lecture, he raises his hand, and the professor stops and looks at him, and he just rolls his eyes. He goes, "What is it, Chris?" and I went, "What's going on here?" And through his little John Denver round glasses, he kind of looks up in the sky and he starts talking. And I'm going, I have no idea what the hell this guy is talking about. And I'm pretty sure everybody else in the class just sat there and watched this interchange between the professor and Chris. And I thought, I'm impressed forever for this. And I will never forget a complete athlete and gentleman and scholar. And you deserve this. Congratulations.
Thanks, Dana.
Jim Dow's up. I saw his hand raised. Unmute Jim if you had something to say. I saw you raised your hand. There you go.
There we go. That should do it.
Now,
Well, first of all, congratulations, Chris. Very well deserved. I'm thankful my body's still in good shape, that I only had to block him in practice when he was a junior and not when he was a senior. So that was a bonus for me, hearing about what happened that next year and things to that effect. I also would like to say that, Chris was known for his cerebral and his mind. And I told Chris this story the other day, but in the game at Lewis and Clark where we beat them and tied for the championship at halftime, Chris comes in, he sits opposite me and in the locker room, and he's looking at me and finally he says, "Jim, will you sit still? Will you quit moving around?"
and I hadn't moved a muscle for 5 minutes. So it kind of shows you where the state of his brain was at that particular point. But he recovered nonetheless from that. The other thing I want to say is that I'm proud to say that I survived an entire road trip over spring break from Whitman, Walla Walla to Santa Barbara to the National Free School Conference and back. And at the end of that trip, we all still loved each other and thought it was one of the greatest times of our lives. So thanks, Chris, for both on the field and off the field. I truly appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim.
Anyone else? Oh, there's Mark Thompson.
I have some info on most of you, inside info that I can't share. No, I'm just kidding. You know, my dad used to come home and John Wilcox used to come over after practice. And I remember, Chris, when you were, I think you were a freshman, you and Steve, they were sitting on the back patio and they were discussing your scrimmage that Saturday. It was either your first or second scrimmage. And John said to my dad, he said, Roy, we have got a special one. And my dad said, is it Chris Helton? And he said, yeah. And they both looked at each other. My dad said, this is going to be a fun 4 years.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks in many ways, Mark.
Thanks, Mark, for your advocacy. We really appreciate it, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Who else would like to say something? Okay.
This is Larry Ringstad.
Oh God, Larry, hi.
Hey, Chris, congratulations. I only got to play, I think, 1 year with you. But you were obviously one of the leaders and one of the better players that we got to watch play, and you were an awesome player. But you were also a great fraternity brother, and always had fun listening to your insights. So congratulations and good luck to you.
Thanks, Larry.
Mike.
Yes, hi, hope you can hear me. This was probably won't really much remember me because I was just a freshman when most of you were in the upper class. This, I've had a number in the last couple of years, a number of reunion sort of activities, whether they're high school or college or whatever. And when I saw the announcement of this is the one that really meant the most of all of those things to me. Not only because of Chris and a few things I'll say about him in a minute, but because I went to a lot of other reunions and the names were familiar, but I couldn't remember much about the people. But the people here, I remember a lot about each one of you, and quite a bit. And it was a great experience. And one of the things about it as a freshman was coming in, the examples that we had to look up to, Chris Helton for sure, Bob Crabb, Guy Nelson, Logan Hazen, were all people who set an example for us freshmen that we really looked up to and worked towards. And one of the things about Chris was that you could tell, even as a freshman, and you didn't know him, that he was a fully dimensional person who had a lot of aspects to him aside from just being a football player. And yes, intelligent, yes, smart, and all those things, but a great person and a great personality in addition to all of that, that really, as I say, set a great example for us freshmen. And I definitely remember that quite a bit. And so I'm completely happy to have been able to come to this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got a message that there's somebody who wants to speak that may be on an iPhone. If that's the case, just start talking if that's the situation.
Sure. Hi, this is Nancy Mitchell.
Oh, hi, Nancy.
Hi. I'm outside walking, so I hope the outside noise, the ambient noise won't be too much of a problem. But Chris, I wanted to thank you for all the work that you did on the football reunion. I distinctly remember Arthur and Eric coming up to me. It was a reunion weekend. We were doing photos and they said, it's time for a football reunion. And I said, well, yeah, this is what it would take. This is what we can do. And this is what we would need the volunteers to do. And they said, we're on it. Chris Helton and Bob Crabb are going to join us. And what a delightful experience that was. There were about 125 football players that came to that event, and it healed a lot of wounds. And after the reunion, I had alumni email me saying, I have my alma mater back because of that experience. And it wouldn't have happened without you and Arthur and Bob and Eric stepping up and taking the lead. So kudos, Chris. You're just a leader, and what you did for your classmates, your teammates, was really, really special. So congratulations. Great
Thank
to
you,
see
Nancy, and congratulations on your retirement. God bless you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Nancy. Are there other comments? Yes, Sario, Ron Sario.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, hi, Ron.
So you guys down in Fall City, I'm up here in Sammamish up in the upper echelon.
Yeah.
But I do play a lot of golf down there in Fall City. Anyway, being the only guy here from the class of 70, those of us who endured losing every game our freshman year, getting beat by Willamette our sophomore year, 61-0. When Kim said our senior year, when we went back to Willamette and beat them 60-7, nothing in my life, I think, has meant as much to me as that particular day. When I look at all the faces there, honestly, God, the class of 71 and 72, you guys helped carry it over more so than my group. There was only about 6 of us left from the terrors of the early years. But Chris, congratulations. If I'm in Fall City and you're in Fall City, I know a place to have a beer. So let's do that sometime. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
Well, we're closing in.
Yeah, hi, Eric, this is Rob Chanafelt.
Oh, yes, go ahead. Thanks. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Hi, Eric. Hi, Chris. Good to see you. I'm calling in from Bainbridge Island. I knew Chris later, got to know him later in his life. We played racquetball at the WAC for, I don't know, 12, 13 years. Had a great time, always enjoyed playing with Chris. I think Robert Trout's on here too today. There was a group of us that played for years. Always a gentleman, always a great sportsman on the court. And the fun thing about it, you were talking about his philosophy classes. Well, we would play racquetball for an hour and then spend an hour talking about theoretical physics and astronomy. and Sherry kind of laughs, and nobody knew why, but I think Chris just likes to learn things and use his mind. And I think, as some of the stories you folks have told illustrate, that goes way back in his life. And so Chris, good to see you, and sorry we can't play anymore, but thanks to everyone for filling us in on some of his past exploits, and congratulations on the Hall of Fame. Well deserved.
Anyone else? Okay. Well, I am, this is the, it's the time for the star of the show to speak. And so I'm going to pull the camera up a little bit closer, and Chris.
I lost my voice.
Let's try it, and we'll read it if you want us to. Whatever you want. You want us to read it, or you want to try it?
No.
All right. So we'll move it up here, and
I lost my voice.
All right. These are Chris's notes. Hello and welcome. I'm very honored and happy that the college and my teammates chose to reward me with a spot on the Whitman College Athletic Hall of Fame. When I first heard the news, it was hard to integrate the idea and meaning of such a reward. This is because I played football. Football is one of the consummate team sports in athletics. It requires the full effort of 11 guys on offense and 11 guys on defense, plus the inestimable influence of the coaches. And a strong team often has almost as many backup players who may be just as good as the starters. No one person should stand out. We each contribute to the team effort equally. That's what makes football a team sport. Because of football's unique characteristics, it requires a lot of people to come together on each play to contribute their best individual efforts. From this observation, I think it is also fair to say that when the team succeeds, each one of the team members deserves credit and reward. But in today's world, we tend to rank individuals and their effort. One, two, three. I recognize why we do this, but I want this audience to realize that I believe that my accomplishments depended on the accomplishments of others, and that I only stand on the shoulders of others. It is, he's messed it up here. I can't read it. It is under this umbrella of understanding that I want to thank all of my teammates for helping me accomplish my job on the field. I hope that my entrance and presence in the Whitman College Athletic Hall of Fame reminds each of us that, quote, no man is an island, end quote. We all stand and fall together. Thank you again for granting me this wonderful football honor. I will cherish it as a constant reminder of my wonderful time playing football at the college. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that concludes this evening.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. A permanent plaque will be put up in the Whitman College Hall of Fame to join the other elites within the next couple months. And good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Night. Thanks for doing this, guys.
Chris, love you, man.
Thank you, Eric.
Congrats again, Chris.
Good night.
Talk to you soon.
Congratulations, Chris. Talk to you on Friday.
Congratulations, Chris, is one of the kids who are big. Take care.
Chris, don't forget, we all felt the benefit of you, even those who only saw you for a year. We get to stand on shoulders, I guess.
Hi, Scott Farrell.
Hang tough.
It was Tom Deuce. That's Scott, yeah.